Welcome to a Crop and Create delivered video tutorial from Scrapbook and Cards Today magazine. This is designer Lynn Ghahary, and today we are going to create a layout from start to finish using the Crop and Create delivered fall kit. Let's get started. We are going to be using this sketch from Becky Fleck, which features two 2¼ by 3¼ photos. I'm just using a plain piece of brown cardstock as the base of my layout. I'm just going to adhere this piece of patterned paper from my mind's eye to the center of the brown cardstock. I've trimmed it down to 11 by 11 inches square, so I am just offsetting it from the border of my cardstock by ½ inch on all sides. And of course you'll see I'm coming in here now with my black journaling pen, and I'm going to add some pen stitching around the perimeter of the inner patterned paper piece. One thing I wanted to make note of in regards to this particular layout and the kit is just in terms of using fall or seasonal products, not necessarily for a seasonal layout. So you'll see here that the photos that I'm using for this particular layout were in fact taken in the fall, but my journaling and the overall meaning of my layout is not related to a specific fall event such as pumpkin picking or Thanksgiving or anything like that. I am going to be using one of the die cut titles that are included in the kit that says thankful, and my journaling reflects my feelings and my gratitude for having my two boys in my life. So I want to encourage you, especially those of you who perhaps live in a part of the country that does not have a particular change of seasons, or you know, maybe don't celebrate some of the different fall occasions that others do. I want you to encourage you to really look at the kit and the products included in a different way and see how you can use them to scrapbook those everyday memories and photos. Now that I've finished putting the faux journaling around the page, I am going to start building the workings of the layout. You can see on the sketch that there appears to me to be about 4 quadrants. And so that is really the design elements that I picked up from the sketch. Again, a sketch is there just to encourage you and perhaps spark some creativity, but you absolutely can change it to suit your photos, to suit the products that you have, or to suit any particular design elements that you want to include. So I am going to use this idea of 4 quadrants. I've cut 4 different patterned paper pieces to 4½ inches square, and I'm going to just arrange those kind of haphazardly, you know, tilted, not exactly straight in the center of my page. So the first quadrant I'm working on here, I have a picture of my son Darian, and I tucked one of the basic gray die cuts behind the photo, and now I'm going to add one of the stitching stamps that is included in the kit to the die cut. I really like this. It's a little crisscross stitching stamp, and it adds a little bit of that whimsical feel to the layout. I'll adhere this quadrant down onto my layout, and then I'll move along to my journaling. You can see I've already pre-printed my journaling on actually the flip side of that paper that I just used. It's just a plain cream solid paper, so it's great for journaling. This is the die cut I referred to earlier. I did resize it a little bit so that it's a little bit bigger, but you can see how I've manipulated my journaling a little bit so that it saves room for this thankful die cut. And that's something that if you can think about your journaling and your title ahead of time and where you want to place them, it's a really great idea to do this, because it really helps to make sure that everything is very tied in with one another. I'm also going to add another stamp to the bottom of my journaling here. This one says, "Happiness is a grateful heart." And I'm just using, again, a dark brown stamping ink from Stampin' Up! That matches the cardstock that I'm using. And also you see I have this pink foam piece. It's actually a piercing tool from We Are Memory Keepers. I use that when I'm stamping to help give a little give below the paper that I'm stamping on, and I find that that really helps to get a nice clear image of my stamp, so I don't have to really struggle and press too hard. If I put that foam piece underneath it, it really helps to make sure that I get a nice clear stamped image. Now I'm just using a glue pen to put some glue on the back side of my die cut title, and I will position it in the open space on this quadrant and right where it nestles into my journaling. And of course you can see I added a little banner of that blue wood grain paper just to give a little pop of color to help tie it in to the plaid paper that is on the other opposite corner of the layout. So now we're moving along here, and now I have a picture of my littlest guy, Brandon, and I'm going to be using some more die cuts from the Basic Gray die cut pack, and I'm just trying to figure out exactly where I want it. I'm trying to make sure my lines are straight here when I'm lining up these die cuts. Once I have that exactly where I want it, I will tuck it behind and on top of this photo of Brandon, and then I'll adhere it into place. Now I want to also add a little bit more of that stamping, so I'm actually going to use the straight stitched stamp, and I'm going to stamp it twice in an X pattern over the edge of the blue banner where it meets the photo of my littlest guy. And again, it's just adding a little more detail and a little more touch of whimsy to this it's more of a casual layout with everything positioned haphazardly, so I want to add some more of that casual feel with this stamping. And now I'm going to move along to the final quadrant that we have here with the plaid patterned paper, and I'm going to place one of the doilies down slightly offset to the side. I'm going to do some more stamping, this time using this great wood grain banner stamp, and I have die cut a piece of craft cardstock using the die cut files included with the kit, so it lines up perfectly. Now I'm going to place this here, and I decided that I wanted to layer it along with some other patterned paper. So I've cut a piece of yellow solid patterned paper, as well as a very skinny strip of that blue wood grain that I used below. And I really just want this to be a cluster or a layered embellishment on this quadrant, so I'm just trying to decide here how I want everything to look. I am the type of scrapper where I try stuff on a lot, so you'll see I will put stuff down and then I'll look at it again and I may move it around, but there's really no rhyme or reason to exactly why I place things where I do. I really just take a look and decide if I think it needs more, if it needs less. This particular layered element here, I knew that I wanted to add several layers of this patterned paper, and I'm also going to add some twine and as well as some of the stick pins that are included in the kit. So again, you can see I'm just fiddling around, moving things around, and I end up placing it exactly where I had it in the first place. And now I'm going to add in some more pen stitching to give it that really nice homemade feel. Moving along, I'm going to add the burlap twine behind this little layered banner element here, and I'm just going to wrap it around a few times and tie it in a bow. And then I'm going to add the stick pins. And what I do when I'm placing stick pins is I try to get them through the knotted part of any knot or bow that I may have on my layout. It helps to keep them in place. And then I'll go ahead and I'll use, in this case I'm using a very small or a mini glue dot behind the leaf part of the stick pin, and it really helps to make sure that it doesn't shift around on my layout if I'm moving it in or out of my album. Once I have my stick pins all settled and in place here, I'm actually going to go back now and add a few more embellishments. I decided that I wanted to add some of the My Mind's Eye tiny stickers, or rather the words, the phrases. And I just looked for stickers that had coordinating colors. I really liked this one here because it coordinated with the wood green that I have on the layout. And I'm going to add them with some dimensional adhesive. And then I'm going to add another one below the U die cut, and it says "You are the best." So again, the message coordinates, and the colors, it has an aqua border to it, so it coordinates with that blue wood grain paper as well. And now I have the Doodlebug pearls, and my initial thought was that I was going to cover the two holes in the U die cut with the pearls, almost as if they were brads. And when I stuck it there, it just, to me, it looked like it was out of place. So I decided I'm going to figure out something else for that. But I did want to add them to the two photos. Again, I usually add elements such as pearls or enamel dots in clusters of 3. And so you can see I'm just using my tweezers here and kind of arranging them haphazardly, but in a cluster of 3. And now I decided to cover those two holes in the U die cut. I would use the corrugated man or boy shape in this case, and I'm just going to use a mini glue dot and just stick him right over those holes. And I thought it was great just because it also helped to tie in the craft cardstock color. Now here's a look at the completed layout and some detail images. For more information about Crop and Create Delivered, please visit www.scrapbookandcards.com or www.scrapbookandcardstodaymag.typepad.com.